Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, affirms in a message written on his behalf by Prime Minister Algeria's devotion to promoting the principles and objectives of the AMEP and highlights during the works of the Committee of the African Heads of State and Government on Climate Change the great importance that Algeria attaches to maintaining the cohesion of the African group during the upcoming international negotiations. The President of the Republic affirms Algeria's major role in the Matei plan in supporting development in Africa and highlights the Algerian-Italian experience in the energy sector during the second Italian-African summit. Algeria's role in achieving economic complementarity to serve the African peoples is held in Addis Ababa. Under the supervision of the Ministry of National Defense, Algerian experts engage in a battle against the dark files of the French colonialism, particularly the nuclear tests in Taourit Tanafela in Tamanrasset, commemorating the 66th anniversary of the French nuclear explosions in Algeria. Welcome back. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, expressed his sincere thanks and deep appreciation to African leaders for the trust placed in Algeria following its election to head the African peer review mechanism, praising the disciplined organization of the 35th Forum of Heads of State and Governments. His message was read on his behalf by Prime Minister Sifiri. Further details with Melissa de la Balaman.
During his keynote speech delivered by the Prime Minister, the President of the Republic reaffirmed Algeria's commitment as a founding member to promoting the African peer review mechanism's principles and goals, a natural extension of its active role in African Union mechanisms. This pledge rests on respect for member state sovereignty, the Pan-African organization, multilateralism, and continental cooperation.
تشكل هذه القمة التي ستشهد نهاية رئاسة الجزائر الدورية.
The summit, marking the end of Algeria's rotating chairmanship of the Forum of Heads of State and Government of the African Peer Review Mechanism, is an important institutional moment. It provides an opportunity to review Algeria's 2024-2026 tenure and ensure a smooth, orderly transfer of the Forum's chairmanship to the Republic of Uganda in line with the mechanism's internal rules and African Union's decisions. Algeria's commitment as a founding member to advance the mechanism's principles and objectives naturally continues its active role in African Union continental initiatives. This commitment rests on respect for member state sovereignty, Africa's multilateral structure, and intergovernmental cooperation across the continent, reflecting Algeria's diplomatic tradition of promoting dialogue and strengthening African solutions to African challenges.
وهو التزام قائم على احترام سيادة الدول الأعضاء والمنظومة الإفريقية المتعددة الأطراف والتعاون الحكومي بين دول القارة.
The President also noted that Algeria's tenure leading the MAEP Forum achieved significant progress, including strengthening governance evaluation mechanisms through national assessments and the formulation of recommendations that improved public policy. He added that this period fostered the exchange of best practices and mutual learning among participating member states.
لقد عرفت فترة الرئاسة الجزائرية تحقيق عدة إنجازات هامة نذكر منها على الخصوص.
During Algeria's chairmanship, several major achievements highlighted its commitment to strengthening governance and regional integration. These include adopting and implementing the African Peer Review Mechanism's 2025-2028 strategic plan, enhancing governance evaluation through national and thematic assessments, integrating e-governance as a central theme, promoting the mechanism's role in conflict prevention via institutional dialogue with the African Union Peace and Security Council, and making significant progress toward establishing the African Financial Rating Agency, a strategic initiative to bolster the continent's economic and financial resilience.
وهي مبادرة استراتيجية تهدف إلى تعزيز المرونة الاقتصادية والمالية للقارة.
Algeria proceeded to hand over the chairmanship of the African Peer Review Mechanism Forum of Heads of State and Government to Uganda for a 2-year term, knowing that since 2024, Algeria has led the forum, which focuses on promoting good governance, strengthening peace and security, advancing integration among African states, and boosting effective continental action. On this occasion, a commemorative photo was also taken of participants at the 35th summit of the forum.
Representing the President of the Republic, Prime Minister took part in Addis Ababa in the works of the Committee of the African Heads of States and Governments on Climate Change. On this occasion, Prime Minister read the message of the President of the Republic to the participants, a message in which he highlighted that Algeria attaches great importance to maintaining the cohesion of the African group during the upcoming international negotiations and works for a fair transition for the benefit of all the countries. We listen.
Excellency President William Ruto, President of the African Heads of State and Government Committee on Climate Change, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to transmit to you the greetings of His Excellency Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, President of the Republic, who entrusted me to deliver his speech as follows. تؤكد الجزائر على أهمية الحفاظ
Algeria emphasizes the importance of preserving African unity during the upcoming international negotiations and striving to achieve a just transition that benefits all our countries, while avoiding unilateral approaches that disregard a fundamental reality of our continent. This entails adopting a unified position as the most effective way to defend our shared interests, build ambitious international and regional partnerships, increase funding allocated to our countries, and facilitate technology transfer to address the pressing climate change.
وتسهيل نقل التكنولوجيا لمواجهة معضلة المناخ المستعصية.
Prime Minister also read a message of the President of the Republic to the participants of the second African-Italian Summit in Addis Ababa, a message in which he affirmed that this summit is a good opportunity to evaluate what has been achieved since the launching of the Matei Plan and determine the priorities in a collective and constructive way, a plan in which Algeria is an effective partner, convinced that Africa is a major and sovereign actor. We'll listen. Algeria has concluded its presidency of the African Review Mechanism at the close of the 35th Forum session, marking the end of its 2024-2026 mandate and highlighting progress in governance, reform, conflict prevention and continental integration. Basma Fad.
The African Peer Review Mechanism has concluded its 35th Forum session, with Algeria completing its presidency for the 2024-2026 period. During its mandate, Algeria worked to further integrate the mechanism into the institutional system of the African Union. The objective was clear: improve economic and institutional performance and strengthen stability across the continent. Among the major achievements of Algeria's presidency was the promotion of the mechanism's role in the conflict prevention. This was notably carried out through strengthened dialogue with the Peace and Security Council of the African Union. The action was linked to the Continental Early Warning System, reinforcing the connection between governance, stability and sustainable peace.
Significant progress was also recorded under Algeria's presidency, particularly in supporting the establishment of an African credit rating agency, the publication of the African Governance Report, and the adoption of the 2025-2028 strategic plan.
During the closing session, it was reaffirmed that Algeria, under the leadership of President Abdelmajid Tebboune, defended an approach based on self-assessment.
During the closing session, it was reaffirmed that Algeria, under the leadership of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, adopted an approach based on self-assessment as a tool to consolidate national sovereignty.
Participants unanimously praised Algeria's management of the presidency, stressing that the mechanism was transformed into a genuine platform for political consultation and exchange of expertise, a platform serving internal reforms and African integration.
Asked by the President of the Republic and as part of his visit to Burkina Faso, the State Minister for Hydrocarbons and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, accompanied by the Minister of Energy and Renewable Energy, held bilateral talks with the Burkinabe Minister of Energy, Mines and Quarries. They agreed on the supply in oil products and the expand of the partnership in the electricity sector, in addition to launching training programs. More than 6 decades after France detonated its first atomic bomb in the Algerian Sahara, the radioactive fallout still haunts the region as a result of the remains of its contamination. Algeria launches its first partial decontamination effort to reclaim the land and protect its people. Basmafar.
The black cloud that covered the sky over again on February 13, 1960, still haunts collective memory as a reminder of one of the darkest colonial crimes. It marked one of the most horrific nuclear acts in modern colonial history, turning the Algerian Sahara into a field of radioactive experiments, while humans were left to endure the consequences amid long international silence. The criminal legacy of these explosions remain visible to this day. 10 decades of study and interministerial coordination led by the Ministry of National Defense and under the supervision of Algerian experts and the use of national equipment, Algeria has launched its first partial decontamination operation at the Taouri Tenafle site in Tamanrast province. This site had witnessed a failed underground detonation, considered the most dangerous with a force of 150,000 tons of TNT, 10 times Hiroshima's bomb. The explosion caused fires, structural cracks, gas leaks, and radioactive cloud, with magma saturated with radiation. It resulted widespread contamination and near total destruction of the mountain and valley ecosystems. Cesium-137 and plutonium radiation continue to affect the area today. Following detailed assessments of contamination and health risks, qualified Algerian experts established the first partial decontamination camp on site, a model for future rehabilitation of other locations. The operation uses national manpower and specialized equipment to collect radioactive waste stored in secure containers, following strict safety protocols. The absence of French maps and archives complicated the identification of radioactive zones in the southern desert, yet Algeria has undertaken this challenge with sovereignty and determination to cleanse every inch of this sacred land.
The first session of the Great Algerian Mauritanian Parliamentary Commission was held at the People's National Assembly under the theme "The Parliamentary Role in Supporting the Bilateral Economic Cooperation for a Sustainable Partnership." It was co-chaired by the President of the People's National Assembly, Brahim Boughali, and the President of the Mauritanian National Association, Mohamed Bamib Makt. This session reflects the dynamic of the relations between the two countries and the strong will of their leaders to consolidate the bilateral cooperation. We listen. Morocco is facing a mounting economic and social crisis as a wave of bankruptcy spreads, jobs disappear, and families struggle to survive. Melissa Dila Balaman.
In Morocco, the economy is buckling under a wave of bankruptcies. 11 companies have already closed and nearly 50 more could follow. The downturn is quietly wiping out hundreds of jobs, leaving workers with little protection and no safety net.
حسب المندوبية السامية للتخطيط
The latest data from the High Commission for Planning shows that 77.8% of Moroccan households say their economic situation has deteriorated compared with 2025.
2025
No one is addressing our demands on 16,000 dirhams. We can't make ends meet. I have 8 children and my husband is sick. He can't work anymore. I can't work elsewhere. I had a major operation and I need at least 8,000 dirhams a month to pay for my treatment my doctor requires.
The social crisis is deepening, anger is rising, homes have been destroyed, and roads cut off, while families have been left without shelter.
We've lost everything. Now I'm on the street with my children and my husband.
The crisis lays bare lack of accountability and authority, with citizens' rights sidelined in favor of protecting the image of those in power.
A friendly football game was held at Nelson Mandela Stadium between Western Sahara and the former Algerian international players as part of the initiative to support the Sahrawi people, its identity, and its right to self-determination in order to materialize the policy of the Sahrawi state that will celebrate the 50th anniversary of its foundation on the 27th of February. And with this, we come to the end of our edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Have a good night.